Hoşdele.
Hoşdele Gishila.
Hoşdele.
Hoşdele Gishila.
Hoşdele.
Hoşdele Gishila.
Hoşdele. Hoşdele.
Kusu de boyin be. Yala.
Devoyi.
De boyin.
Ya.
Hoşdele Gishila.
Hoşdele Gishila.
Hoşdele.
Kusu de boyin be. Yala.
Hoşdele Gishila.
Hoşdele. Tama kusu devo.
Depo. Depoyin.
Ya.
We are all good. Thank you, Gishila.
Tama kusu devoyin be medi şuguyos. Ta çarang joyida de. Sali çarang joyida. Tama kusu devo şugu medi şuguyos.
That needs translation. Ken.
Yeah. You do translate.
I translate. I hopeless.
Let's pray that all of us have a good health. Yeah, hold on, I'll share screen. So we start the session with prostration. Namo manju shriye, namo su shriye, namo dhamma shriye soha, namo manju shriye, namo su shriye, namo dhamma shriye soha, namo manju shriye, namo su shriye, namo dhamma shriye soha.
Zanje je da zoje
Chunala Changchu Bando Dani Gyabsu Chi Dagi Junye Gibye Chona Ge Rola Benje Sangye Juba Shu Sa Xie Bege Choche Meto Chan Rali Che Nidye Kemande Sangye Juno Midye Uwa Yin Roge Nanda Chila Cheba Shu Gororana Mendala Kan Yadaya
당어서 도마데 리나는 게 최디데 돈에 간다 도시슈 데 인딩는가 테라리아 야 템바 투베 엄보 오랑 그티니 짜이나 마임발라 넘바 템바 투베 엄보 지sab다 템디 템바 투베 엄보 또 외세 초바시 외세 초바 템디지 sab다 탕고도 초지자와 세다 자와 참어 쉬요 서 템디지 내바지 세다 리들랑 가서 디스베자 운종을 지야이 근데 외세 까마 티가서 소소 유엔에 우야 뭐디 유엔이야 오늘 간다 농로파 참에 수고 신앙 공간을 파 참에 다 지와 새로 토만 여번 사부 디바 공간도 파 유엔 우마타디 nothing 시파 난카르 파 예수 선을 해봐지 다 유엔에서 니가네 소토스 고 로아 니 빠좀 같이 같이 자시.
So now we do 9-round breathing meditations. So please sit according to the 7 meditative posture of Vairocana. Then we visualize in the sky in front of us is Buddha Shakyamuni in one nature with our Guru. In his heart is Lama Tsongkhapa and in his heart is Vajradhara. He is surrounded by Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, radiating lights. So now we do a nectar purification practice in relation to the merit field that we have just visualized. So we visualize the blessings of Buddhas and Bodhisattvas in the form of light nectar, in the color of white, red, and blue, go into our body together with our in-breath. And when we breathe out, we visualize all our negativities sickness obscurations come out from our body in the form of black smoke or liquid and vanish in the space. So Naira breathing meditations is divided into 3 sets. Each set 3 times of breathing. First set of breathing, we breathe in with our left nostril and breathe out with our left nostril. Then we do it for 3 times. And the second set of breathing, we breathe in with left nostril and breathe out with our left nostril. Third set of breathing, we breathe in and out with both nostrils.
더디 이제 동아진의 신제대다 탕제 다 라니 대원대바 나시대 신제 참 대원대바 지성시 라니 동에 문대바 나시대 신제 참아가 동에 문대바 지성 이 동아진의 신제대다 참 지와 체로 토마메 반에 다다바다 더랑게 마마제 바다 마 제만이 지장메스 된디기 배 거린치 뭐 샤다 이사 선호타니 이 동아진의 신제대다 탄지 대원 대회장 랑도 고로 집이 왕게 다 동엔 바히 영원의 대가 끼지자 문도비 다 등지지 만드는 대화 피승서가 되는 점으로 냐데 된디 참바 보셔스.
So all sentient beings are exactly like oneself. So in terms of not wanting sufferings and wishing only for happiness. All sentient beings have been our mothers since beginningless time. Their kindness to us is exactly as the kindness of the mother of this life. Though they don't want suffering and only wish for happiness, not knowing the object of abandonment and object of adoptions properly, they only create the karma that bring forth the results of sufferings. So in our hearts, sincerely cultivate loving kindness thinking. How nice if all sentient beings have happiness. May they have happiness.
더디 이제 동아진의 신제대다 탕제 당간다 리지 네 나자 중앙시 내발아서 봐 리지 문제비 쇼 타다도 점으로 냐비 뜻 참바시 민지시 선을 보셔스 민지 관시.
Next, we cultivate compassion. So may all sentient beings, their physical sufferings, for example, sicknesses, harms that brought about by the imbalance of 4 elements. So may all those undesirables in relation to physical body are totally purified.
The just Dunga Jinasi Telatanchi singing in Jitaki Dungata, singing Nonto Tara, near Tara the Chamuru, Ninja Boshus.
So may all sentient beings, the mental sufferings such as fear and anxiety, all the coarse and subtle conceptions, be totally purified.
The just Nagu, Zintamala, Sobi, the Majing about Tara, Tara, Chamaru, Yambi, to Ninja Boshus.
May all sentient beings be free of the verbal sufferings, such as experiencing divisive speech, lies, and harsh words.
Nando dina goes into Mantibicho, Tada Chamaru, Yabi, to Ninja Boshus.
In brief, all the undesirable ones of 3 doors of all sentient beings be totally purified.
Not the much nice in Jetta Tom and Che, Coating is with Dunga and gain the syllable and gain the near Hanapos. Near Hanapoja, I didn't make us a Yanta was the Sanji Kumpal and give me by the maid. You got the Silla Yaba, yes, and Yanta was the Sanjila Yaba Shini. This in Jetta Tanchi the Sanji Kumpata show, never change symbols.
Next, we cultivate bodhicitta thinking. Who has the responsibility to free all sentient beings from suffering? I have the responsibility to free all sentient beings from suffering. However, I do not have the ability to free all sentient beings from sufferings. Only those who have achieved the state of enlightenment have the ability to free them from suffering. Therefore, for the sake of all sentient beings, I want to become Buddha.
The Tanchi Rangi to put that's a maybe Minja Toyos are in Satuski San Antonio as company.
Now we take a moment to meditate on emptiness of all phenomena, that phenomena are not intrinsically exist. They exist merely in the designations by labels.
다 그노 지야라 신신체 탄지기 치르도 상지지 공부도 뒤 치도 대 장주 랑지리 비치 신에 냐니 쓰기도 진에 신체라 펜바두고 인상 들으시고 그노 지셨어.
Set motivations for this session. For the sake of all sentient beings, I want to become Buddha. For this purpose, I'm going to receive Lamrim teachings and put it into practice in order to benefit sentient beings.
Thank you. That day, also, go to the Toma, this Shijak to me, so chewing Nibicala, pushing to be nearly Simbi Shijak to me. That ding also, Taporishi, to some Shatan, Rishi Kasi, Timakashi Shutsare, the Yanja to so, yeah, how Mogovaina, Jesse Yanja Subtrata, Chase Stilla. That the kitchen was that is, also, drawing young to push it to be nearly the young to do that. That the kitchen was that. Tell it to Sanshi, also, Chudoli Chinese.
Yeah, so as a reminder to all of you, because of its importance, that we conjoin listening to Dharma with the practice of 6 perfections. So these 6 perfections is the basis upon which we listen to the Dharma, we conjoin it. So I have mentioned it a few times already, and if you still have doubt, then you can ask next time.
The cousin also the Mashia, the Temba Tanjinga, made to be chewing as such issue, Temba Tanjinga made to be chewed, Soro Tanji Danga Church, Gayumba de la Nicho, Nijimaranga chose, dish that dish them was a kitchen to Sanshia, cousin was one of Temba Tanjinga made to a digital Mashia.
So under this, presentations of these texts as possessing the 4 greatnesses. The 4 greatnesses are the greatness of understanding all the teachings as without contradiction, the greatness of all of the Buddha's teachings occurring to you as instructions, the greatness of allowing you easily to discover the victor's intention, the greatness of a great misdeed stopping by itself. So these 4 greatnesses are important, and the first one we already discussed in previous class.
당어서 템바가 미 또세와 템바의 뉴스는 거다. 템바 세와데 nga메바 또야게 템바의 가르스네 템바의 롱구 템바다 또비 템바니라 샤고레스. 로와. 다 마차 도도라고 데리다. 템바 가메도 또세 nga서 냐네 집에가 nga메 또세와데 nga서 창주 랑리 쳔모세 nga서 가스미 히사이마. 다 창주세 nga서 토자 타도가 잠스나 앞에 뽕바 타시비 원이거든. 추스와데 뽕바 타시비 이시추고 들어와. that deniga toyala da lung temba samala nyane chine ngawa mepa nyane chine lodan chi da topi temba de la nyane chine ngawa mepa lodan chi da temba ngawa temba thanjin game de to se denda dile shagu da ma nyane chine dile sama tusan shego ke chembori ro.
So regarding the first greatness, the greatness of understanding all the teachings as without contradictions. So we have to identify what all teachings is, or what all teachings are, and the teachings refers to scriptural teachings and realizational teachings. And when we put it into practice, then just like the title of the text that I've explained before, Jiang Chup Lamrim. So Jiang Chup is the ultimate object of attainment, and this Jiang Chup it can be further break down into 2 meanings. So Jiang is the perfections in abandonment, and the result of this is nature truth body, and Chup means the perfections in realizations, and the result of this is attainment of wisdom truth body. So this Jiang Chup is the enlightenment. Enlightenment is the ultimate object of attainment. So Lamrim. So when we talk about the teachings, or teachings can be further divided into two, right? Scriptural teachings and the realizational teachings. So, so it can be, say, when we understand or realize or recognize how all teachings are as without contradictions. So this can be divided into two because the teachings are already divided into two. So now we can understand these as understand scriptural teachings as without contradictions and understand realizational teachings as without contradictions. So we must know how they are not contradictory.
다 가지 시번나시 먼저 장추의 도자 타도 샤고요. 다 랑리세와 가지 시설 양장 가서 제소체 랑리세와 도자 타도 봐 장추의 도지지 타들어와 타 주스와 되래. 타와 조다 랑리세와 가지는 제거 순제 랑지린 받되래. 뒤츠 디바이나 라바스들와 츠 디바이나 라바스들. 뭐다 들이 순자 먼저 장추 랑리 세와데 뭐다디 단단 가서 배지 해야 돼. chanju de toya toja ta to chanju de toya chelu de jiwa de toya gi juda tashi karla tin tin wasna tashi de langri so de lanjirimba da lanjirimba de jiwa sum je lanjirimba kitsu dibaina da laba sundarwa oda de kasi shusarwa yanja treso sina temba yuyo cheda yanja chishiwa yirwa.
Yeah, as a reminder so that you all can remember it firmly in your mind. So enlightenment, Jiangchuk itself, so means enlightenment is the ultimate object of attainment, and Lamrim is the actualizer, that which actualize, or is the method, or is the cause that is a cause to actualize the enlightenment. So what does this Lamrim refers to? This Lamrim, or stages of the path, it refers to the stages of the path of three scopes of beings. So that is what Lamrim refers to. So if we were to condense stages of the path of three scopes of beings, then it can be condensed into three trainings.
다 든지선자 단단 가서 가둘라 템바 단진가미에 또 세와데 다 롱비 템방가미에 또 단지다 다 또비 템방가미에 또 단지 니시고와 저당 가서 롱비 템바 세와데라 저다 상지지 소로가 참 롱비 템바레 롱비 템바는 뒤로거래 다 간다 롱비 템바데 가서 봐 도도지 서바이나 제샤고네 체바지 시바이나로와 롱비 템바도 봐 제시고네 체바시나 다 소도 뒤로거래 또 ndui dene ndodi dene ngibi dene sna pa jesha gi cheba shawde te long temba sama di suno dino shwa de suno dino da dene suno di khasi ji shesare yanja ndui dene swade so sutin ji laba di jesha so shi ma so jeshi go dino se la imba wa o sutin ji laba de jesha so shi de suno de dan ma so ndui dene se to shawa chirwa.
Yeah, then we have to know how the scriptural teachings are not contradictory, and we also have to know all realizational teachings are not contradictory. So we have to know why they are the way that they are not contradictory. So scriptural teachings, all the Buddha's words are contained in the scriptural teachings, and the scriptural and if the Buddha's words or the scriptural teachings were to classify it in terms of its object discussed, the topic of discussions, then it can be divided into three. So the Vinaya, three baskets of teachings. So Vinaya baskets of teachings, Sutra baskets of teachings, and Abhidhamma baskets of teachings. So the main topic discussed in the Vinaya baskets of teachings is the training of morality.
dan dui dene sa ma to jeshi chane pe trin la ba jeshi so shingi de la soro de la dui dene chi da ndodi dene sa wa da ma so da la ba so tingin ji la ba de jeshi so jingi ji soro de la dan dodi dene se to sung yes da ro.
So the scriptures or the teachings that mainly talks about the training of concentrations is Sutra baskets of teachings. It's contained in the Sutra basket of teachings.
Da la ba so na cher de la ba ro da cher de la ba de jeshi so jingi de dan ngi dene cha ro ngi dene cha go re o da de ni sung sa ma so jeshi ko ne ma sanji soro gonde de cheba chama ma diudi jejak to ma diudi de dene sunse dina dino ta kanda dene sumo de so jejak chine shaw de jejak to da la basu bodre.
And the third one is scriptures of Buddha's words and the commentary text. So that the main topic discussed, if the main topic discussed is about the training of wisdom, then it is categorized or is grouped in the Abhidhamma baskets of teachings.
Oh, 당연히 temba tenda kaptu nganzo de tia de temba tanjin game to se yo. Ota temba game to de lungu temba game to da to bi temba game to ni she gurwa. Da de she de nganzo pe sha ba ina lungu temba game to se wa de nganzo tenda de she ba che gore nganzo ngoma logic so la kanda ndo da ngase na pe chadang na shi tu se ngenzi chen de ge yungwe. 다데 도와라 냐니 지게나 ngala 냐니 지야 말 ngala 냐니 지야이나 야 도와라 지야 말 도와라 지나 파신나 지야 요마서 든디 용거 왔다 템방 가미도 또 세워데 다데 든디 차당나 히파 냐니 제발라 차당나 바카고 차당나 신겨와 바카는 거 로 때바 도거 도거 배 샤바이나 나서 너희게 배 도와도 나서 다 좀게 데미지 되는 순데 들어와 지금 시에오로와 데미지 되는 순데 단 너희배 너희 지진대배 다 초도 집어 산지게 데 데미지 되는 순거 다된 너희 되는 순비 데미지 되는 순비 단 너희기 지진이 지진도 냐네 처인도 제고래 데 제가라 데배 티바 전복이 되네게 와 티바 전복이 되네게 냐네 제기 시사 차고래 마도 너희 되네라 냐네 제스나 티바 전복을 최를 냐네 제야라 개완도 와다 나게 티바 전복 나게 냐네 제와라 개완도와 자원이네 요 말이에요. 아 디시자리스 때 특별 침복 제가 냐네 지하다 나고 제가 냐네 지구나 도와레마 테메지 되네는 도와레 송비 데디 수린트 냐네 시바 시자 도 샤고 했어요. 어다 디시자부터 냐네 지어디 데림바기도 간자 림바기도 맞아 제브란디 통해서 샤고야 주세들이 데림바기도 간자도 엘로 림바기디야 또바다 지라 양투 또반 투서도 가서 농구 또비 템 받으러 또비 템 받으래. 오, 난주데 롱구 데네텔라 냐네 든디기 수준도 제네 때 토픽 넘바 난주 지라 투네 때텔라 냐네 측진이야 공배를 바기 된도네 때타 창주지 공파토서 그래서 나리 창주사 되다 다디 가서 시장도에 이와 나리 칠까라 가서 창주사 위해서야 돼.
Yep. So we have to understand how scriptural teachings are not contradictory and the realizational teachings are not contradictory. So referring to the first one, how scriptural teachings are not contradictory, then I can give you an example that happened in the past that some people they regard if you practice morality or if you practice Vinaya, then it is contradicted with the Tantra, is contradicted with the Mahayana Tantra. And if you practice Vinaya or morality, then it is contradicted with the 6 perfections, for example. So, however, and then they regard that such contradiction is like the hot and cold. So, however, they are not contradictory, like hot and cold. So, whatever morality topic of discussions about morality that originates from Hinayana baskets of teachings, that is the foundations for the practitioners. So regardless you are a Hinayana practitioners or you are a Mahayana practitioners, then those are the foundations for all the practitioners. And so they are not contradicted. They are not contradictory in terms of if you practice the Hinayana baskets of the morality originates from Hinayana baskets of teachings, and it is contradicted with the Mahayana Tantrayana practice. So they are not contradictory like this. And and we talk about realizational teachings. So realizational teachings means we develop the realizations in our mind. So we develop the realization in our mind. In other words, is we develop realizational teachings in our mind. So when we develop realizations in our mind, then eventually we achieve the state of enlightenment, state of Jiangchu.
Oh, that is so. That answer the roa. Answer kolo panta so roa. 콜로 담보 딩한도 저 테메지 되자 치소 리치 들어와 콜로 담보데 콜로 담보 딩한서 마 송데 저 디샤데 테메지 치듯이 디샤데 저 손에 송거래 다데 송데 콜로 담보 되게 마 먼저 메게 마 공반 되우디 따와 고래 마 공반 되게 조지다 제바 고네 마 공반 되게 조지 마 시고 이렇게 되면 다 따이고네 마 제바 콜로 담보 되게 마 공반 되우디 따이고네 마 제바 되게 테메지 다 ngaso dene ngumba dede se yo kasi shimba ngumba dede dachum ba tingi be ma zonga resi ji yo o ngumba dede da de cheda hinse chemos ro cheda hinse chemos de denje de nje zande nje zaodan de ba cheba
공다 양게 데
ngumba dede ro ngumba dede re de kana cheda hinse chemos
치다
o cheda hinse chemos 다 제가 막 이게 니들이 흉요 도면도 들어와. 따이고 막 보면 되게. 다 제가 현재 좀. 뒤에 이제 자와던 데버스. 다 어비네 현재 자와요. 어디서 다들 막 콜로 담보게 따이마 공부 좋은 데게 뒤에 뒤서 차고요. 뒤서 차고래. 다들 속은 가서 냐네 제고로 하다 가서 제가 현재 좀보다 공부 되딘다. 다들 손은 냐네 제고에 이래 속이 제샤 또 따와 가서 대신에다 주는 때 따와 또 되는 배우로 하면 오 디선양이 시고에 시사차고 다 콜로 담보게 따이마 공부 되게 다 데미지 되는 뭐 되긴다 제가 현재 제목 디레 이제 자와 이제 다 제바들라 무슨 도사와 도사와 되다 콜로 담보들라 마 제바군에 따이군에 공부 되게 지다 제비군 공부 되게 니 워와 오다 제비군에 공부 되게 단도와 도사와 소리 다들 속 들인지 라바 띄워라 또 시고로와 제바고 도사와 어디 도사와 시디 어디 다지 니가 뭐 공부 되다 데미지 되는
Yeah, so regarding the Buddha three times of turning the wheel of Dharma. So the first turning the wheel of Dharma is the main intended audience is for the Hinayana practitioners, and upon those the commentary on the Vinaya text. The commentary on the first turning of the wheel of Dharma teachings, it can be divided into two. So there are commentators who gives a commentary or who compose the commentary text mainly based on the view, and they are also commentators. They mainly compose the commentary text from the aspects of conduct as well. So one is from the view, another one is from the conduct. So in terms of view, then there are texts such as the seven during the seven texts of Abhidhamma, or seven subjects of Abhidhamma, and it is composed by the seven arhats. And besides these seven texts of Abhidhamma, there are also texts like, for example, the great oceans of great explanations, and they are also the root text, root and the commentary text of Abhidhamma, which is composed by Vasubandhu. So these texts that I've mentioned just now are the foundations for the practices. So we have to regard it as the foundations of our practice. And for the commentary from the aspect of conduct, then it is the Vinaya text, Vinaya Sutra themselves, so the root text on Vinaya. So those are the texts, mainly based on to compose the commentary.
차단 나시 차바이나 디 베지 용마레 먼저 베 차단 나시 차바이나 다 제가 현재 지금 뭐바 데디라 냐리 제바이나 데 티베치비 노다 드설에 냐리 제야 데 이게와 차르고라 차단 나시 차바이나 차단 나시 차바이나 이 냐니 지야 용 말와
대신기 도라.
오 디바지민도 그래서 간다 디차로와 다디 차다나시 마레스 맞어 단다데 냐니 지야 진피 지도 차고여레스 거와 조 진피 지도 참막 맞어 내가 가리나 참막 인남도 하루바루 제바이나 내가 삐더봐야 하고 차고해서 맞어 먼상 찌기 나로 나무 참마다 하루바루 지내 내가 강한테는 참막에 구다바다 제바이나 민사디 야부 차는다고 로와 야부 차는다 나 대가 나시 수수 배냐니 지알에 너배 파샤고야 땡치 수샤고야 많이 봐 참하고 수수게 냐네 강도 지디 제바이나 터자 타투자 터야 지래 자주들에 어디디 터야라 배 죽피수서 봐 차고해서 그렇다.
Yeah, so we have to understand that they are not contradictory, like hot and cold. So if they were contradictory, like hot and cold, so when you practice, like for example, the great oceans of great explanations, then it will be contradicted with the Mahayana Sutra. So, however, they are not contradictory like this. They are complementary. So they complement each other when you practice one of another. So when you practice one, then it helps you to develop more realizations, or it helps you with the realizations or improve your realizations. So if we group together, if we come together and do perform one task or do one work, then it will only brings out a good result. So it's just like a family of few family members. Then if we were to group together or unite together and then do one job, then that job will be excellence. So we should not regard we should not put sutra one side and separate from the treatises and etc. So we should bring them together, and then in order to achieve one goal, which is the state of enlightenment.
Kanda da longu temba denes da jide ji soro bonde da chepa tangche kansa ji ngason changje nyane do shin timbala ndo ma do ngaje de ndo chunse zaya mundu sa dendige tenda shimbaji jumbaina oda longu temba ngami to yores ro longu temba kanda ro o ngami to de denes da jide ji soro bonde da chepa tangche kansa ji changje susu ge nyane ji Nyangsa lembale shintindo yobale sope ngachi dendo chunse tsaya meba koati ta longu temba ngami to ba kanda tendiji susoge koaji leba ina ta longu temba ngami to yoresko.
Yeah, so in relation to the scriptural teachings, they are not contradictory like hot and cold, and so all scriptural teachings, be it 3 baskets of teachings, 4 classes of Tantra, scriptures, Buddha's teachings, and the commentarial text. So they are all in agreement. They are all in agreement, or they are all compatible with each other and not contradictory. So if you develop such understanding in your mind, then you have developed the realizations of all teachings. Not contradictory.
Da topic temangame to was that the dodo shiro. That topic temangame to was that Danda Hundu Shibana Lungu Temba so Jesha Shibuda. Lungu Temba, da Urwa, the Kanda Dennis in the Judici, Kadina, Lungu Temba Tisu Kanda Jesha Roa, Jesha Magichibung with 3, Magichibung Jesha Magichibung with 3 day, that Kanda Jibi Chung so. Chico Shigura, Jibi Chung, Chico Shigura, Magichum Trinde. Da Lungu Temba Jesha, Dembashi, Dinshi, the Lavason, the Soda Kanda Chibo Ringi, Chibo the Shiver, Jibun Ringi Chibo, Shiver. Da Lungu Temba Garawa, Jesha, Chanjuki Center, Pashitu, the so Chiakta, the Jibi Chimbi, Nani Cherry, Chibo the Songway. Or that the so mother. Jeja, Lungu Temba Jeja Tesodroa, Tesonga, Nyani Chegua, 강사진 창자의 냐니데 제발에 신이 신팀반 도안에 가진도 도와 중재자야 내가 신다. 나도 참만 냐니데 제라 제자도 수수배 줄라 냐니 제라 진진 도아마도 가지 중재자 아 문도와 되게 된다지 시마이나 왔다 또 비테만 가미데 도여와 또 비테만 가미 도레스 가미데 또 가미데 시 된다 가미데 ngo치바 다 된다 집어와 수수 ngo치바 있는 시고래 네바 있는 시고래 또바 있는 시고래 간다 된다.
Yeah. So regarding the realizational teachings, how realizational teachings are not contradictory, then again we have to explain it from the the object of the topic discussed in the scriptural teachings, like for example 3 baskets of teachings and the 4 classes of tantra. So in the teaching of small scopes of being, that mainly talks about the morality of abandoning the 10 non-virtues, and the 4 noble truths and 3 trainings, they are mainly discussed or mainly found in the teachings of obedient scopes of being. And bodhicitta and the practice of 6 perfections is mainly discussed in the great scopes of being, in the teachings of great scopes of being. So all these practices, so morality of abandoning 10 non-virtues, 4 noble truths, 3 trainings, bodhicitta, and 6 perfections, is that we have to put it into practice, that we have to practice it, because they are all in agreement, and they are all in agreement, and then they are not contradicted with each other. So we have to put it into practice. So if you understand this, that all these practices are the object of practice for the 3 scopes of beings, then we develop the understanding that all realizational teachings as without contradictions. So when we say we realize all realizational teachings as without contradictions, or we say it also means that we know all realizational teachings as without contradictions, or we develop certainty, or we develop ascertainment, or we know, or we realize, or we understand. So they are all means the same here.
다들 간다로와 당한서 롱비 때만 가면 또하게 디디 대체 또비 때만 가면 또하게 디디지 실상이 봐. 다들 당한서 동지 제바이나 롱도 때만 니가 대지 롱비 때만 가면 또단지다 또비 때만 가면 또단지 니셔이 봐. 다 동지 제바이나 롱비 때마다 또비 때만 니가 가면 또하게 만수 치tundu 고단 쳐대고 저와 다 롱도 때만 탄지로 롱기 때마 또비나 롱도 때마 탄지 간사진 창자에 냐네도 고알아 가지는 도 중재자야 매바 고아데 로아 롱도 때마 탄지 차단다 롱도 때마 탄지 차단다 가와 매바 간사진 창자에 냐네도 고아데 냐네도 들으시 고와 이나 오다 롱도 때마 롱기 때마 또비 때마 니가 가면도 간다 도도치 로아 롱도 때마 탄지 차단다 가와 매바 강사진 참자의 특수고와 어떤지 레바 상로 레바이나 다 농기 때문에 또 때문에 니가 가면 고르고 다 던디치 고야라 상무지 레바이나 다 배어 삼지고 잡아버리고 배어 제목 좋아 수수기 던디기 단다지 맞아 배 맞아 나지 서로 로발에 단다 상무데 간다데 배어 치고서 나지 던발에 상로 담바데 니치 배치브레서 산노탄에 수수 줄라 또바치버데 델레 배치브레서 고라 델레 배치브레서 보다 배치나베 다 던지지 산노탄 도바이나 배치고 싶으레서 맞으로와 다 배치고 싸우데 땡아서 초서 디바장 던지지네 땡아서 첸디시 니가라 간다 디지게 탈랑 다 요도메도 자고 요로와
Yeah, so I've already explained briefly about how the scriptural teachings, all scriptural teachings are not contradictory, and I also explained how all realizational teachings are not contradictory. So if to summarize all of these is to realize all teachings, so scriptural teachings and realizational teachings are not contradictory. the way to understand this is all scriptural teachings, realizational teachings, and scriptural teachings are not contradicted with each other like hot and cold, and they are compatible. They are compatible, and you should understand they all are compatible, and you should understand that all these are the method for one person to achieve the state of enlightenment. All the scriptural teachings and realizational teachings are in agreement, and they are the path, or they are the method for one person to achieve the state of enlightenment. So this is how we understand all scriptural teachings. Realizational teachings and scriptural teachings are not contradictory. And so if we able to develop such understanding or realizations, then it will bring forth the great result. Because when we talk about reading the scriptures, so compared to reading the scriptures, thinking the meaning of the scriptures, it will bring more benefits. The later one will bring more benefits. So compared to thinking the meaning of the words, develop realizations in our mind, the later one brings more benefits than the previous ones. So if we able to develop such understanding, then when we engage in the practices of accumulations of merit and the purifications of our negativities, then those are the methods. Those are the methods to bring forth the happiness. To bring forth the happiness in, not only in this life, we will bring forth the happiness in future lives as well. Yeah, so to continue the point that we stopped last week, which is here, the precious teacher also said, so the precious teacher is Drumdumba. So Drumdumba also said, my guru who knew how to lay out all the teachings by means of a path like a perfect square. These words form the basis of a measure analysis. So this statement itself, my guru who knew how to lay out all the teachings by means of a path like a perfect square, as a worth analysis and investigations and discussions.
That I think also going to ship at some tender dire, Temba Tanji to Lanji Chibangi Lamas na Ndun Tembage, the Koran Lama the Georgie by the Disharua, that Georgie by the Dishara to the Naba, Zeva Sumbarkanda, Danga Sumbarua, Danga Sumbari, Temba Tanji to you, Lanji Chibangi Lama, Nigi Lama. That Dundi Nyani Cheran, Dundi Yuri or Takanda, Temba Tanji to Ylanji, that the Temba the Lungu Temba Tobi Tembani, Shuyimba. Oh, that did a page shani.
Yes, sir. Yeah. So whatever they have explained just now is exactly the meaning of this. So the precious teacher is Drumdumba. So also said my guru. So my guru is Lama Atisha. So he's the one who knew how to lay out all the teachings by means of a path like a perfect square. So it's related to the explanations that I explained just now. So Drumdumba praised Lama Atisha. So these statements is a praise by Drumdumba to his guru Lama Atisha.
That thing also the Dodo Shibaina, Temba Tanji to Lanji Chibangai Lama Siva Digi Tenda, Manso, then Kakama to Shijila Pishari, that day also, Jaji Ponga is somewhere, Jaji Ponga, Larino de Jisuri de Yabushi Yore. They shinda than do Larin Dior Sulta, Mambu Soyer, Koji Chambo Mambu Shuyer. Then also, that's also some of the Chile Shawachi, some of Tanjua. Then cut tissue, Dabuchi, Yachi, Linki Yachi, Dusia, Katuya, Lemaina, Linch Chawanashi, Linkia Chesidi, Trishil Hardeva, G. Labania Simba, G. Miguel Hardeva, the Nikishi woman. G. Labania, those Linch Leodi, Trishigada, Lavan Lesser, somewhat Lavan Lesser. Oh. That the Nashi, that the Peshani, 그 서로 본들의 제발에 냥리 지제우디 창사 냥리 제발 된다고 냥리 지제 서로 본들 지가 냥리 제우디 사마 냥리 근데 지하게 담바샤도 가지고 우리 해서 다 스스로 담바샤시 냥리 로와 장주 공부해야게 탑 서로 간디 지가 냥리 지나 삼박의 냥리데 도도 매봐 스스로 이 냥리 장주 해야게 탑 담박에 담바신바지 왜 근데 지라고 담보데
Yeah, so regarding this statement, then there is in the commentary text of Lamrim by Kepji Paponga Rinpoche, then he said that he gives an example to understand what does it mean by lay out all the teachings by means of a path like a perfect square. So the example is a piece of cushions. So when you leave, when you grab the cushions and lift it up by one corner. So if you grab one corner of the cushions and lift it up, then all four corners or whole cushions will be lifted up. So what does it mean is when you practice when you engage in one practice, then it includes all the teachings or include all the meaning of the scriptures in it. So when you practice one, then it appears as instructions to you. So instructions to you means that it is the method to achieve the state of enlightenment. So when you engage in one practice, then all the it appears to you that all practices are the method to achieve the state of enlightenment. When you engage in studying one scriptures, then it appears to you that all scriptures are the instructions that shows the method to achieve the state of enlightenment.
오, 근데서 다다지 공도 시바나시 근데 대카카마 지지 린스 랭위디 대 참만념도 치야데 다때바 탄진 감에도 또 알아서 이 공도 시바 다 서로 간디질라 냐네 제바이나 사다난 가메바 참마라 딱한다 냐네 제야게 된다데 보야되래 다때페 샤바이나 간소 나리데래 장주 나리디 로와 다 장주 나리데 간소 델 장주 나리데게 로와 되게 제제 찌기 나리다 제자 된지 나리세 니레고 간소 로와 제제 찌기 나리다 단다 간소 데 송로데래 송로데 이제 찌기 나리데 로와 제제 찌기 나리 단다 제로 뭐지기다 나리 송데 제제 찌기 나리시 다 제제 된지 나리세와데 제로 뭐지기 손비 제제 찌기 나리 되게 제자 제버순지 나지를 받대 세나타 간다 라바소는 된다 도도 되래 이 제자 된지 나리세 로와 오 다된 근데 제자 된지 나리 송자
Yeah, so exactly, this example shows that if we lift up one corner of the cushions, then all corners or the whole cushions will be lifted up. So exactly with this example, it shows that all teachings are not contradicted with each other like hot and cold, and they are without any contradictions. So just like this text, Sages of the Path to Enlightenment, this text, this Jiangchup Lamrim text, then the expressor, again, the expressor is the word, the Lamrim words itself is the expressor. And the Lamrim meaning, the meaning of Lamrim is the expressions. So it talks about the expressor and expressions. So expressor is the word of Lamrim, and the expression itself is the meaning of Lamrim. So, the word of Lamrim is this text itself or this scripture. So the words about Sages of the Path, composed by Lama Tsongkhapa, and the meaning of Lamrim is the meaning of those words. The meaning of those words is the Sages of the Path of three scopes of being, and if we were to condense it, then it is three trainings.
다가서 데 데르다 데카 카카마 지지 빼셔도 린지 쳐야 돼. 다가서 장주 나리 치모 장주 찌기 장주 나리 치모 되게 냥서 랭오디 다 장주 랑리 될 제시 찌기 랑리 될 냥소 레오디 다베 상지지 손으로 몬데데 치고 참아베 에 인가와메 봐 참지야랑 가와메 봐 참아 냠설이야 고와 로와 참아 냠설이야 든디지 고와 신바들라 다 간다 제시 찌기 랑리게 냥레 제나데 다 간다 데로와 대카 가마 드실랑와서데 장주 랑리 찌기 랑리 될 냥레 제오디 다 손으로 몬데데 치고 참아게 nimbo dine jer mochigi disunglo wa yisigani dirwa o chamala da nyane cheba denda shawa dembi chumba ina o da de kha kama tigi lamba manzo jeje tsigi langri nyane chera dus chirwa tambode da suro tanjil nyane cheba kochigo rese jeje tsigi jer mochigi sumbe jeje tsigi langri dela nyane chewde da sanjigi suro gonde cheba chamala nyane chia ndo tubachi 어떻게 요래서 되게 된저야 줄세가스나 산지지 소로 고네데 제가 참하게 님보데 되네 송야고 와 어디 소한자 다 참하게 소로 용수도 발라 냐네 ndroade 고치고 그래서 어디 경험해 봐.
So with the example of lifting up one corner of a cushion, then the whole cushion is lifted up. So with this as an example, then we understand. So then we can understand these texts, stages of the great stages of the path to enlightenment. So these words of Lamrim, so when we put it into practice, then is the same as we are practicing the words or the words or the instructions in all scriptures and together in the commentary text as well. So when we realize, when we put the words of Lamrim into practice, then we should understand that these words of Lamrim, they are not contradictory. They are not contradictory because it is the method for one person to achieve the state of enlightenment. So, and these words of Lamrim is the essence of all scriptures, all scriptures together with the commentary text. So, if when we practice it, then it is as if that means we also practice the instructions of all scriptures and commentary text.
어, 당 아주 제를 뭐지 손자죠. 장주랑리 다 조지 빠제디게 손 장주랑리 지기랑리 딜라자는 된다 집어와 가를 자나 진두거래. 다 가싱을 같이 휘차이 봐. 장주랑리 롱차지 터바이나 소로 탄지기 롱 터바 고치그래서 가다 말라마디 소로와 로와 장주랑리기 티 터바이나 소로 용스 터바게 티 터바 고치고 그래서 장주랑리 카시네 소소기 냐리 제바이나 난소 데미 로와 데미 지기 로와 반제 mamboji 카체토와 나시 데차고에서 로와 데미 지기 반제 mambo 자타 mamboji 베 카체토야게 데미 지 나시 오 데미 차고에서 다 제지 지기 나리 장주 나리 데라 소소기 냐리 짜오데 다 신다 상지 소로 본데데 잡아 참아 인겨와메 봐 소소기 담바 냐스 레고야 고아티 오 데미 차송자 다 템바 탄지 지지 랑지 지지바 니라 마시 다 등아도 시야를 된데 시고요와.
Yeah, so you can also apply it to the lamp for the path to enlightenment, or you can also relate this example to the stages of the path to enlightenment as well. So whichever also can. So as Kadamba said, as Kadamba Lama said, so if you receive the oral transmissions of stages of the path, then that means you also receive the oral transmissions of all scriptures. So if you receive the commentary on stages of the path, that means you receive the commentary on all scriptures. So this is said by Kadamba Lama. So if you receive the oral transmissions of Lamrim, then you receive the oral transmissions of all scriptures. If you receive the commentary on Lamrim, then you receive then you receive the commentary of all scriptures. So this Lamrim text is like a key for all treasure boxes. So there are many hundred thousands of boxes, and then this Lamrim this Lamrim is like a key to open all of these treasure boxes. So what does it mean is if you practice Lamrim is, since it is the essence of all scriptures and commentarial texts. So so when you practice it, then you are practicing the instructions of all scriptures and commentarial texts, and all scriptures and commentarial texts will appear to you as an instructions.
다들 순서 만서 지지 측이 나리게 다 제름부치기 나리들에 무슨 냐니 제우디 다 소로 용조 때 냐니 지역에 원자 나시 원자 아로와 자타 지라 간다 데미치기 원자 자타 마모치 안지 자타 마모치 든지 같이 투바 나시 든지 냐니 지역에 다 담바데 두스차 투레스로와 고치우레스 다 든지 제자 전지 나리데 가르스나 다 chanchu lari degi sik lari degi jesha thende ta jichin jambi agi ma jer mochile na agi lanju zo na so delawe ya nimbe ji agi menga kha ka de ta joji pa de ye so jebu so ji lari ya nimbe jene ya menga des dune dingro wa da de tanda de de o de ta sanji ji so ro yo so zo ba nimbo de dene de wa ta degi nimbo chama de de chanchu lari jemu jesha de nimbo 가랑 드네 드네 맞대고 손사 다 제자 장주 나리기 제자때 또비 때문에 되게 참아 차라단 가면 봐 냐니 제우디 다 서로 오늘 제가 용도기 제자가 님보테 다 냐니 지하게 또 된다데 리뷰요레스 냐니 제 된다 리뷰요레스 데 가마 맞아 레스 내야다 두스 빼샤는 빼리다 와
잠비양
잠비안에 마 런치 조나서 명하나 바로 와 지름 못질라 다 조지 빠져디 시작에 무슨 명아 칠 메시지 제부선지 란지 림바기 명아 로단데 베 메시지 취시송다 지와 시토네 다 자니 대송으로 와
Yeah. So when we practice the words of Lamrim, then it is as if we are practicing the words of all scriptures. So Lamrim is like a key to open thousands of boxes of instructions. So when we practice Lamrim, then we're able to cause the understanding that all scriptures as instructions to appear in our mind. So these words of Lamrim, the expressions, so it talks about the expressions, which is the meaning of Lamrim. So the object of expressions of words of Lamrim is meaning of Lamrim. So which is the instructions given by Manjushri to Lama Tsongkhapa, the three principal aspects of the path. Then based on these three principal aspects of the path, then Lama Tsongkhapa combined it with the lamp for the path to enlightenment by Lama Atisha, then added the three qualities that we mentioned before and the four greatnesses, then composed these stages of the path to enlightenment, so which is the stages of the path of three scopes of beings. And this contains the essence of all scriptures and their commentarial texts.
오다 가서도 된다 두신이로와 다 간다 서지디 담보를 차와지로와 다 템바 탄진감에 도서 디 차와지 다 서지 님바의 소로 탄지 당한 차와지디리 다 디마신이라 같이 좋아디마 마상이래 전 마치시잖아. 좋아.
Yeah. So before I go on to talk about the greatness of all the Buddha's teachings occurring to you as instructions, then last class, then at almost the end of the sessions, then because of the internet problems, then Gua asked the questions, then the answers because of the internet problems, then I'm not able to translate it. So now I would like to translate the answer first. So the question is about how bodhisattvas benefit Shravakas since they but they cannot stay more than 7 days. So more than 7 days. So the answer is for those who
같이 님마디 땡이미노 그럼 님마디 노서 님마디 좀 땡어서 배 남바 출라 간다 이치 메바든지 싫어 받든지 지르보냐도 대마죠 이기셔 이제 증거스 그 전주 선물 가서 이제 주시야 돼 니마디 말했을 때 장주 심바도 주시야 가서 배니티 뭐 되자 창상 배 선지 좀 마도바 단자 대신에 간다 지야 그 요레스 거.
Yeah, so when you talk about cannot stay more than 7 days with them, then probably my understanding is probably you are talking about Buddhists. They cannot stay more than 7 days with outsiders or non-Buddhists who do not have faith in the teachings. So probably you're related to that about this by 7 days. So talking about that, bodhisattvas, if they cannot stay more than 7 days, how can they benefit Sravakas? So they can benefit. Yeah, so they can still benefit the Sravakas practitioners as well. So so there is no, so they promise until their death, they will not lax in their accomplishment. They will not lax in accomplishing the welfare of others. So bodhisattvas, they pledge or they have such commitment that until I die, I will not be lax in accomplishing the welfare of the sentient beings. So they will continuously accomplishing the welfare of sentient beings until they die. So probably the saying of 7 days is not applicable here. And then these bodhisattvas, the way they benefit Sravakas practitioners is by showing them the path that is compatible with their mental dispositions. And the main path for Sravaka practitioners to practice is to develop to cultivate wisdom, realizing the selflessness of person. So bodhisattvas, having trained themselves in the path and then reveal the path to those Sravakas or the followers of Sravaka vehicles, and this and how to benefit how to benefit those beings who do not have a faith in Buddha's teachings. So it is true that we are not allowed to reveal or to explain teachings to those who do not have path. However, we can still give advice to them according to their mental dispositions or their interests. So one story Geshe-la gave in last class is about the story of King Ajatashatru. King Ajatashatru. So this King Ajatashatru who killed his father, and after he killed his father, and he was in great regret to the extent that he would kill himself. And Buddha, having known that, then give advice to this King Ajatashatru, saying that father and mother is an object of killing. So father and mother is supposed to be killed. So, and having relieved this King Ajatashatru about the regret of killing his father, then he feel relief after listen to the advice of Buddha. Then after some time, then he developed the understanding that the Buddha's advice, father and mother, is the meaning of father and mother is an object to kill, means it is karma and afflictions. So karma and afflictions is to be eliminated or is to be discarded. So he developed such understanding later after he felt relieved. So yeah, so this is answer to the questions. So we'll continue with the lessons.
다 창데 사진이 봐. 다 서로 단지 당하던 저와시 이들와 다 서로 단지 당하던 저와서다. 다 간다들이 다 대소배 사진 개체모 다 쇼체모라 냥내 메비 시치스 시게 냥내 진니보데 맹아스도 요세 다 던지고나 다데 지금 말해서 가서 나지 쇼체모라베 다 냥내 지역에 네 찬소 쇼체모나노 대자요 그랬어. 와 쇼체모나노 냥내 참마 지역에 된다도 대자요 그랬어. 된다 땡자요리데 저 된다 땡바나시 수수게 카투 쇼첨보들라 냐니지 제우데 땡년가도 마시바 고 마치바 달라미기 내가 mambu 지라 마티나 대소소 고단 쳐투요 말이스 근데 성장하고 장주랑리데베 냐니 치알베 수수 깬다 림바나시 도스 제데보 된다 고 치보 년가 참마 듄조 만다워지 요래서 취취송다 지와시를 만다워지 요래서 같이 쉬사인바 오 든디지네 내 담비 취해서와데熊全部了你哈马过的你企业给去记的娘的企业给去记那去你有吧这等这个多把六个看到我说这熊全部给年个娘的哈马我企业叔叔给等到我嘛去但那里面了店呢这等到的这些的我的去些娘的企业给去老个记的说没有嘛企业给去老个记但是老个有把你等这些上了来吧呢但是早年这个有嘛的这叔叔给是吧소소가 서로 공대대 제가 참말라 소소가 퇴상 공부 제야라 개창을 했어요. 개 퇴상 공부 배 서로 공대대 제가 용수도 봐라 소소가 배 문진의 퇴상 공부가 냐래 제발라 딱개 첨부지 작을 했어요. 바지 첨부지 어디 말해서 맞아 해야게 취 효내 해야게 첨부지다 명아 로스지 냐래 제야지 로스 자원이네요 말했어. 강 해봐 대 냐래 제야가 된다 디레스 간다.
So under this greatness, so the greatness of all the Buddha's teachings occurring to you as instructions, and anyone construing the great scriptures to be explanatory dharma that do not contain the points of practice, who thinks that guidance indicating the meaning of the essential points of practice exists separately from them, and holds that even in the holy dharma, the explanatory and accomplishing teachings are found in different places, so will create obstacles for the arising of deep respect for the sutra and tantras. So, so all scriptures together with their commentary text, they shows the point for practice. They show the points of practice. So, and however, when we put it into practice, when we study those great scriptures, and when we practice those great scriptures, and without relying on Lama's instructions, then we are not able to understand that all scriptures actually are showing the points for practice. So, and due to our not understanding, then we regard Buddha Dharma. There are two types of Buddha Dharma. There is one is meant for explanations, and if you want to practice the Dharma, then you have to search for other sources that talks about the way of applying the Dharma. So if we do not understand that all scriptures appears to you as instructions, then we would have this misunderstanding, and this is not a this is a great misunderstanding that we should not develop, and we should understand that all scriptures are the instructions that shows the point for practice. Otherwise, it will create obstacles in our practice. So this also shows how important or how special this Lamrim text is, because of having these three qualities and four greatnesses that it shows the stages of practice in the gradual orders, and it contains or it condenses all the points of sutra of all scriptures in this text. So this shows how important it is, how important this Lamrim text is, and it is important that we need to practice all scriptures, the instructions in all, that we have to practice all scriptures by means of listening to, contemplating, and meditating on it. So it is important to do so. So what we have to put it into practice is exactly what we understand by listening to and contemplating. So we first listening to the teachings or to the scriptures, and then we contemplate it. Then the understanding that we develop through listening to and contemplations is exactly what we should put it into practice. We meditate on it.
다들 순자熊全部 대다게 소소가 냐네 지역에 대한다도 뭐 된바 시기배 돈도다 태손 제바 장지 덴디지 레도상 상로 코바이나 노바레스 칸다와 돈 태손 돈도 고제 제바 장세로와 다 고제 제바 장세와데 나게熊全部 저거 냐네 지역에 대님보다 마대바 시기배 돈도 제바 장지 돈도다 태손도 파 제바 장 덴디지 지고지 제바신의 상로당바이나 다디 상로당바이나 가서 최봉을 사기 린닝가 딜는 누구였어와 덴디 소바이노熊全部 가서 최봉을 레상가熊全部 chibung le sang de ninga li gu ta de pe ninga chibung azu chibung le sang de ba cha chibung shu re ta de wala ma li gu
So if we were to regard scriptures, those great scriptures, they do not show the point for practice, and those scriptures are meant for eliminating doubts, or only outline or only talk about the external knowledge without showing the inner meanings. Then if we have such understanding with regard to those great scriptures, then there is a great danger that we have already accumulated the karmic obscurations of abandoning Dharma, and the misdeeds of abandoning Dharma is great. So this will come about later.
저 드리신다 맞죠 탄데 나라세 타반 대반나세 당 맞죠 타바드 대반나라 타반 대반나세 타바데 토약인 된게 얘기지 대가서 드셔서 하려고와 타바 토약에 제동배 진행게다 단지 침바 토약이 제동배 진행게다 어 장주당 아주 네가 소가 아주 장주 치고요 근데 장주 토야라 매지 진행게 강사 쪽에 매지 지역의 슝배 논좀 매봐 토와 매봐 체하 매봐 로아 근데 자 전부다 가르레스나 다 흉천부터 해서 흉천부터 속에 되는부터야 디리엠 흉천부터 간다 수수게 냥이 지네 난다 고 마도 왔던데 레마도 다 해야면 뭐에 내지게 논점에 고 간다 상황 땡기리 흉천부터 해서 타박 버터나 매지 지역에 수수게 탕나다 가와 턱대 가와 두고 가봐 매진 제고는 흉청 보냈어요. 산지지 공부 장주대 토하라 매진 가와 제고도 효함에 받아 가와 때문에 흉청 보냈어요. 와 다시 흉청 보다 맞아 타나 로아 탄데나라 멀리 담바 초리에서 내 로그에 규제되어서 간다로와.
Yeah. So hence for those who want liberations, the infallible supreme instructions are indeed the great scriptures. So nevertheless, it is possible that due to poor intelligence and the like, you cannot reach such certainty. So for those who wish for liberations, and in here that we mainly talks about those who wish for enlightenment, the one that unmistakably, the one without omissions and additions, and without and that which is infallible. So the instructions that which is unmistaken, the instructions that is without the fault of omissions and additions, and the instructions that that is infallible are shown in those great scriptures. So those great scriptures, they show those instructions, the unmistaken one, without omissions and additions, and infallible. So it's just that we ourselves, due to the poor intelligence, then we do not understand that all scriptures are actually showing the method for us to achieve the state of enlightenment and to achieve the state of liberations.
수수 비자라 베니체의 티마 때우디 달라미 명아 덴비기라 때네 쇼체모 대단해 보도 그래 내가 쇼체모를 카두 수수 그냥을 제바이나 빨리 쇼체모 제바 빨리 제바 마치 주르봉 거 봐죠 주르봉 거 봐서 마치 와 주르봉이라 또버체 마도야 와 수수 그냥을 제가 치고 말어 어다 덴비시 빨리 체모 주르봉 거야 어다 덴비소다 달라미 명아 때네 양신야지 때와이나 되게 효과적으로 된다 님보다 그래서 속에 약간다 신을 위해서 그거 지구를 위해서.
So and here it talks about it is possible that due to poor intelligence and the like, you cannot reach certainty through relying on these scriptures only as supreme advice. Therefore, you should seek certainty with respect to them, thinking I will seek certainty with respect to them by relying on the excellent instructions. So excellent instructions here refers to the excellent beings instructions. So excellent beings instructions can be mean excellent beings instructions, also means master instructions. So the excellent being or masters, it can be refers to Lama Atisha, Lamp for the Path to Enlightenment, the instructions in Lamp for the Path to Enlightenment, and it can also means it is also applicable to Lama Tsongkhapa, so these texts of Lamrim. So the instructions in these texts of Lamrim. So I will seek certainty with respect to them by relying on the excellent instructions, by relying on, for example, Lama Tsongkhapa and Lama Atisha's Lamrim's instructions in their Lamrim text. So which possess the three qualities and the four great answers. So the instructions in those texts that talks about the instructions which is compatible with the mental dispositions of three scopes of beings. So if we do not rely on instructions of these excellent beings, then if we were to study those texts and practice those great scriptures, then since we do not understand the way of practicing the Dharma, then it will take us a great hardship to do so, and it will take us a long time as well. But you should not think that the great scripture do not contain the heart of the matter because they only outline external knowledge, while the instructions are supreme because they present the inner meanings. So we should not think in this way. If we were to have such thought, then we will create the karmic obscurations of abandoning Dharma. So we should not have such thinking. And those scriptures are the one that that expresses the instructions or the points for practice. It's just that we don't understand it ourselves.
서로 레몬 춘추 든디치게 되게 단다 좀 고치바 사실 기자 시고요 말이에요. 거때. 그와 배부 라티 장기라 네바 무지서와데 레몬 춘추 지와 맹아스 뒤네 레몬 춘추 지라 든디기 단다데 고치바 사실 기자 시고요 말이에요. 그와 다 당하라 나시 침바지 구구레 다 서로 단지 당아서 사지데 서로 단지 당하던 차스 되다 시고요와 어다데 서로 단지 당아 차스 되다 시야데 당하라 나시 침바지 구구레 당하라 나시 치스와데 서로 춘추지 레몬 춘추지 된다 고 집어서 이렇게 시고요 말했어. 서로 모델에 집어 탄지 냐내게 담바도 고쳐야지. 어다 든디지 좀바이나 데 서로 당하도 작으래야지. 서로 모델에 집어 참하게 되는데 수속의 냐내도 샤도 바지. 고도 바지. 든디지 좀바이나 서로 단지 당하도 작으래야지. 당하는 나지 침바세 가다 올라마티고 된다 되겠어.
And the great yogi Jiangchuk Rinjin. So Jiangchuk Rinjin is Katamba Lama as well. So he said, someone who has reached certainty about a handy little volume cannot be said to know all the topics of instructions, whereas this can be said about someone who understands all of the scriptures as instructions. So what does it mean by to know all the topics of instructions? In other words, is to master in instructions. So to master in instructions does not refer to those who only understand a little volume, so a handy little volume. In other words, is only, like for example, only one volume of the scriptures. So only understand one volume of scriptures as the instructions for practice. So it doesn't refer to these beings, and it refers to those who understand all of the scriptures as instructions. So for those who understand all of the scriptures as instructions for practice, then that is then you can say that person mastered in instructions. So it doesn't refer to those who only who only found certainty that one or two volume of scriptures as instructions for practice. It refers to those who understand all of the scriptures as instruction.
다 들어 그 배샤바이나 서로 단지 당하도 차서데 배지 샤워데 조 첨부 너무 공부를 질라미기 이게 된다 됐은 거다 되나시 당하 차고 빌라마디 가르소스나 아티샤이 당하라 땡토지도 레가 있어 되도 로비 요 단지 당하다 고아기 슝송사 되나시 지 그래 해서 되나시 다 당하 차서 다디조 첨부 너무 공부를 질라미기 다 아티샤스 나도 제름 붙이 그러와 다 제름 붙이 조지 빠데디샤게 장주랑데 그러와 다 된디 아티샤게 디 당아 땡토지도 링아 있도 로서데 땡토지서 만소베 나진 팅지라고 그 시고로와 팅지라고 그 시고 된디게 땡토지라로와 아티샤게 당아들라 땡토지라 태상 공수게 태상 공수 제네 로와 태상 공수지 링아 있어 리다 나 있어 내지 참아 문티비 내지 참아 뜻로야 된디 베세 센주 봐 인스 링아 뜻로 되니 아디샤게 당아들라 태상 공수지와 태바다 공바 예수게 이 간다 링아 예수 뜻로야기 디 센주 봐 인스 된디 센주 전에 센주 되기 라지라 되니 센주 되기 레브 될라 되니 네 소로 타지 당하다니 고쇼 아디샤게 니뭐 참망이 된다도 고쇼 무세고 내가 고쇼세 근데지 구글에 해서 왔다 간다 좋아 아디샤게 당할 땡토지도 링아 뜻도 야 링아 뜻로서 나서 링아 예수 뜻로야 돼 나서 나지 배샤바이나 삼방에 봐 조와 주바세 주시고요 파 뜻로야 되로와 파 내가 가야 되로와 좋아 링아 뜻로서 돼 삼방에 봐 조와 주바 리지 잡방에 봐 그래서 참아 파 뜻로서 된다 되로와 뜻로서 된다 되로와 다 아디샤게 당하들 땡토지도 때 근데 상호 땅에 태상 고수 제바 있어 태상 고수 제네 데 링아에서 뜻로야게 그래서 베제데 장바 있어 근데 베제 될라 때네 내 간다 내 소로게 된니고 참아 이게 당바다 양슬하게 당바다 고수 우세 에딜로 다 들리지 보고래서 서로 당한 차세와
And these all scriptures appear as instructions, then we should develop such understanding like Gompa Rinchen Lama, a disciple of great elder Lama Atisha, so expressed saying he had ground his body, speech, and mind to dust in a single meditation session on Atisha's instructions, and thereby the understanding had now arisen in him that all the scriptures are instructions. So this Gompa Rinchen Lama, so in one session, so in one sessions or in one meditation sessions or in one sitting, so in one sitting or in one meditation sessions, relying on the instructions of Lama Atisha. So he listened to the instructions of Lama Atisha, he contemplated and he meditated on the instructions of Lama Atisha in one sitting or one meditation sessions. Then he ground his body, speech, and mind to dust. So to understand this, ground his body, speech, and mind to dust means, the meaning of this is to ground his negativities of body, speech, and mind to dust. So the negativities of body, speech, and mind, such as the negative thoughts, bad attitudes or bad thought, and the harsh, rough conduct. So the negative thoughts and the rough conduct refers to those our negative actions done by three doors. So he ground his negativities of body, speech, and mind to dust. And so having put effort in this way, meditate, listening to, contemplate and meditate on Lama Atisha's instructions, then this effort bring forth the result of understanding that all scriptures appear as instructions. So, and thereby understanding had now arisen in him that all the scriptures are instructions. So this is the result of effort of Kumbarinchen Lama on Atisha's instructions.
우리들이 샤르마데 야 주어들이 시시사샤 당완수 사지 시부노노 서로 당하던 차서와 디사지의 개체 휴지를 서로 당하던 차게 사지 되게 내가 창조 시바이나 사지 신다 송가게 내가 시고였어. 근데 좋아 사지 템바 단진 가면 또 서로 당하 저희고만 되라도 니집을 안 가도 시와데 시와 사지 시와 신호 단다 사지 니바데 개체 휴지 하고 되게 단다 시바이나 사지 신다 송가 단다 시고였어. So
I'm going to stop here for question and answer. And these four greatnesses these four greatnesses are very important. And among these four greatnesses, the second one is the most important of all among these four. The greatness of all of the Buddha's teachings occurring to you as instructions. Because if you understand this second greatness, then you will be able to understand the rest of the greatnesses as well. So I'm going to stop here for question and answer.
Sandy has a question. Should I read out?
Yes, please.
Sandy said that Geshe-la, in Theravada, when one attains different stage of awakening, they will only be reborn or have 7 times rebirth 7 times for stream enterer, 1 time rebirth for once returner, and no rebirth for non-returner until they attain arahatship. Doesn't this contradicts with Bodhisattva path of continue to return to the world to benefit sentient being? So there's one question. Will Mahayana practitioner enter those paths of awakening, and should it be avoided? Stanley can clarify if Geshe-la not to. Avoided meaning the Hinayana path, I would think. Is that, Stanley, you want to unmute yourself? Am I clear?
Yeah, correct.
Yes. Yes.
Stanley, you want to explain about your understanding of Hinayana path, about how the path towards arahatship and the Mahayana Bodhisattva path of returning to the world many times to benefit sentient beings, right?
Yeah. You guys can hear me, right?
Can.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So, because just now, I want to seek clarification because just now it was mentioned that there's no contradiction. Just from my limited knowledge about Theravada, I know that the stages of awakening. So there are, once return, the stream enterer, once returner, non-returner. So I know that once you attain those awakening, you only return back. I mean, you only rebirth for 7 times, 1 time, or even not returning. So if one enters, I mean, isn't this contradicts with the Bodhisattva path, where we vow to return for the benefit of sentient beings? Yeah. So that's my second question. Is very much on: should we avoid or should we? Is there something that we need to avoid to enter these stages of awakening?
Geshe-la ni di kaza teme na techen gi lam la di kaza kimi to ba di ra di ko la jiwa di tang ba re di teme gi nyam len chege ja bo ina ni di kong su nyam len chege to ba di gi ro to ba di gi wa ina di kong su tang bo di kaza tema chi di chu ong ba re dan di chi ma ong ba da
修的是么子？这不是，
这不是的，
这不是的。
的他们的大众把的偷去了，那的因为那样的气温吧，但他们
修的是么？
气温的气温，
这不是的是什么？
这不是的过了，这是的，这是有了，那边那恰些呢，的边的气温吧是的，气温吧的，那的他们就嘛都的是叫我领我嘛没啥。
这是我说邻居。年我给接完领导的， 야 쇼무 또 같은데 백간다 레니 먹을 때 고아리 앉아 시 모여 계속 계셔 시고래서 지원이야 이 지원은 계속 시고래서 이제 와서야 다좀 공부해야 돼 이제 누구래서 간다
ini di na di janchu sembe lam tao kiwa cha yo marwes kain na janchu semba ina kongchu gi tamchi yang koala kiwa le ne semje la pendo cha de marwes ini di
초등 작업 말까 장주 선바 상기도 뭐게 포함을 제가 깜짝을 거 이게 신진의 펜버 도야지 지고를 먹고 눈에 라오메 바 베지 레왕 지고 말 라오메 바 베지 레왕 지고 말 거기 상기도 깜짝을 매게 냐와라 마 페브라니 냐와라 페 신진의 페도 지야가 근데 지금 깜짝을 지와는 페도랬어 내가 와서 슈모 깨지시리 수수 페 림바기를 또 버지를 지네 내가 한다 야 고말이야 ndoyala ndo matuna nenga de tsile kwalse ya ndo tuba chubaina tsile magwa dema ndere mata ngado shensi ji che tsile male kisha maristi
that's all. Yeah, so regarding the four results of stream enterer, once returner, non-returner, and Arashe. So, talking about 7 times or 1 time of taking rebirth, it refers to they take rebirth due to karma and afflictions. So they take rebirth due to karma afflictions. It doesn't relate to is not related to working for the sake of sentient beings. So 7 times or 1 time, it refers to they take rebirth due to karma and afflictions. And bodhisattvas, they do not take rebirth in samsara due to karma and afflictions. So they willingly take rebirth in samsara in order to benefit sentient beings. So the 7 times or 1 time, it talks about take rebirth due to karma and afflictions.
지치다 재미있는
테메나 데 테싱기 람 냠린치
양이 지하는 겨와요 말이스
양이 지하
겨와요 말이스 간다 양이 지가 참 양이 지가 장자됐고 양이 지역에 내체도 말해 봐도 양이 지역에 내 용어 말고 내체도 내 보냈고 맞을때 간다때 내 담보 속에 그다음 거 양이 지역에 제고 내체 말해 봐 양이 지하요 말이스 디디 지바랬고 야 장주 기세나 양이 지역에 내체도 내 보냈고
And talking about Hinayanas practitioner, they also have to engage in Mahayana path as well, or Mahayana practices as well. So we have to differentiate that whether Hinayana practitioners, they need to practice Mahayana path or not, they need to practice Mahayana path. However, if Hinayana practitioners, they haven't develop the qualifications, or they do not have the quality or strength or power to engage in the Mahayana path, then they are not able to engage in such path. So however, for Hinayana practitioners, do they need to engage in Mahayana path or not? They need. However, it depends on whether they have the power and strength to engage in those paths or not. Janju semba ina kongso gi tamsi de yang de semjen kaza yang semjen la pendo chia ro
현대 기초의 상기의 교환을 그러는 거 상기 매기 신체 기초의 상기의 검증의 교환을 배워줘야 되는 지원에서 핀바 그럼 미들라 배워줘야 미들의 넘버 3에 보나 최대 시야마도 미질의 핀도 제구나 코페 미마이라고 지 현대 넘버 10에 곧 쉐르구나 그 쉐다 지고 배워줘야 봐줘 그 배워줘야 되는 얘들 핀바지만 넘버 10에 배워야 된다.
Yeah, so those bodhisattvas or the Mahayana practitioners, they they do not take rebirth due to they willingly take rebirth in samsara in order to benefit other sentient beings, and because they have to take the form of human beings, for example, that is similar to the human, they have to take a form that is similar to human beings in order to benefit them. Otherwise, if they show another form, then these might scare them away. So don't mention about benefiting them.
Miss Margaret here, Ken. Just
Yes.
now, Geshe-la said, I mean, you said that, you know, the Hinaya, those Theravadins, to qualify, they don't have the qualifications to enter the Mahayana. So may I have this understanding that once they have bodhicitta, they already enter the Mahayana path?
那可能那次有没过了，前面那的提前给年龄的那次有没过了啦，那个的话是啦，那次有没啦啦那个的是，因为前面给年龄前呢，其实工作其实对职啦，讲究嘅先叫啦计划呢，工作提前给諗啦做嘅呗。
그죠. 장주세 가디지는 대바지만 저도 치사했어.
提前给諗出晒咯。
대바 전부 장주세다. 다 대치지 랑 치스나 보시라요 뭐라.
提前。
장주세 줄라 가디지는 대바 전부 차사했어.
대바 전부 차.
장주세 다 컴바지만 레서 컴바는.
That's it. Yeah. So whenever a practitioner, so for example, Hinayana practitioners, so if they develop bodhicitta in their mind, then they belong to a Mahayana. So they belong to Mahayana. They are being called a Mahayanist. So they enter the house of Mahayana.
Thank you.
Hello, Ken, and hello, Geshe. I have a very down-to-earth question, and maybe this is because I haven't listened carefully, but my question is this. What do you mean with the distinction of pure and impure manners of comprehending? Can you explain this a little bit? I have read the text over and over again, and I can't see which one is pure and which one is impure.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Oh yeah. Yeah. 当我上他们当我读巧些的，的提前人不去的设计卡工的能力啦，的那些个有的的科瓦打马达，科瓦打马达的业哇，提前人不去设计卡工能力啦，点点只有的，的看啥，上他们当我读巧些的，的我啦。 的写出当准备出的过来写有啊，因为的设计之前人不去设计看工的题目的，他科瓦他嘛他给有啊。
长久哪里个了，国外也不蛮你把那，那当下差都马来西亚过去，现在的。
他嘛他把些的开的人，你嘛他把的开的人啥的工具啊。
这个他嘛的是那个，刚是的，刚才的是。
写出当准备出啥的。
서로 당하는 차 모두 이제 장주 나지는 발라 고아 마샤비 지내서 지자로 됐어. 이 프로테간도 시프로테간다. 서로 당하는 차 모두 이제 장주 나지는 발라 고아 마샤비 지내서 고아 차나 서로 한 제모 참만 아니 된데 내 안에도 시지 제도를 해서
지자로 기 고아.
그래.
양게 서로 나기.
서로 단지 당하는 차 모두 이제 장주 나리지 난지는 발라 고아 마샤비 지내서 고아 마샤비 장주 나리라 고아야 뭐 차바이나 서로 단지 당하는 차를 해서 지자로 뭐 있어.
장주 람림 장주
고아야 뭐 차바이나
고아
된다 고아도 야고 차바이나 그 서로 단지 당하는 차를 해서 장주 나리라 고아야 뭐 마차바이나 그 서로 당하는 차도 말해서 주인들이 해서 지자로 뭐 있어.
So the distinctions of pure and impure manners of comprehending refers to if you understand Janchu Lamrim, then all scriptures will appear as instructions. So if you understand Jiangchu Lamrim, then all scriptures will appear as instructions. And if you do not understand Jiangchu Lamrim, this text, then all scriptures do not appear as instructions. So this is what does it mean by pure and impure manners of comprehending.
Geshe-la, I would like to ask a question.
Yeah.
Okay. For the Hinayana, let's say they have obtained the emptiness of selflessness, then I would think that they could easily obtain the emptiness of phenomenon, because I think these two may not have very much difference. This is my question. Thank you.
That's all. 年推完啦，年推嘅諗實嘅看晒嘅打咩多啲咯，係啦。其實年推嘅看晒嘅打咩看晒嘅打咩嘅多別意思嘅叫啦叫位啦。啲出嘅打咩叫啦出嘅打咩叫啦，其實出嘅打咩都有啲人你拉咗嘅話，係先啲起碼是嚟有嘛嘅話。
有嘛有嘛。但係講到看晒嘅打咩出嘅打咩先啦，搞上嘅起碼出有嘛嘅事個。 anga zo ma tanju tawa thatu shi udwa gansa dame chuji dame so ne kora tongshi gi cheba ji ma do gasha le cheba chuni yo mares de le la bore karsna ngaso shi ngaso pe subu phumbu de gi do chuji dame to ba ina shenda ko phumbu de chuji dame to wala junsin dama na mabo go mare le la to to pres khanda shi ji gi de to sari de shenda de le la ko ngores ko tambo ngaso to wala kale khawes tambo thoma to wala kale khawes ka junsin de pa mamo ji sang dang was thoma to wala.
Yeah, so according to Prasangika Madhyamika point of view, so there is no difference in terms of object of refutations. So according to Prasangika Madhyamika, there is no difference in terms of object of refutations. So only the basis of emptiness is different. So only the basis of emptiness differ. So if we able to understand, if we're able to realize emptiness on the basis of these aggregates of body, so if we're able to realize emptiness on the basis of, on these aggregates of body, then we also, it's easier for us, it will be easier for us to develop a wisdom realizing the aggregates of other objects or other aggregates. So before we develop the wisdom realizing emptiness, then it is very difficult because we have to apply reasoning, and then we also have to reply a lot of logics and etc. in order to first develop wisdom realizing emptiness. So after we have developed wisdom realizing emptiness on the basis of one aggregate, like for example the aggregates of body, then it is easier for us to develop wisdom realizing the emptiness of other bases, for example the aggregates of other things.
Gisela, yeah, I have further questions on this again. I feel that the foundations of understanding the emptiness, whether it is selflessness or the phenomena, it is coming up from the understanding of the dependence arising. So the dependence arising is the root of to understand the emptiness. So once someone is able to understand the emptiness of selflessness, whereby the foundations from it is the dependent arising, which is also similar to, in order to realize the emptiness of phenomena, I think the foundations from there is also from the dependence arising. So I feel that it is just a slight difference between emptiness of selflessness and emptiness of phenomenon. Thank you.
So, kaza, Dende said. Dende na kaza, kansa kita meta, chu kita meto ya la, to ya gi shiza de, Dende koade, Dende koade res. Ini Dende gi koade kyola kiwa ina. Ini so de chu kita meta, kansa kita meta kyola, kansa kyola ini de to tu res. Ini 제장 간사기 담에다 추기 담에나 데키바시다 요 말이스 네나스
레레다 담에 가샤리가 저 땡데도 가서 리피 잡고 있어 리피 제보 가서 나지 두세 배쳤다 눈에나 람사하고 그래 가서 배 데메 두야 준시 두시 야슈 잡고 나오다 땡데 해서 그래 그 강사들 가서 배셔면 강사들 덴버 요 말이스 덴버 두바 요 말이스 가르치는 맵스는 그런 땡땡 와서 전세드시고 땡땡들 리피기 잡어레스 리피기 잡어 뭐 디세워레스 드레스 장아가 드레스 컨더와 그래서 강사들 치 다음에 동시권 제바자 아마도 가샤나 제바 요마 편집을 차라치 요 말이스
Yeah. So it's true for Prasangika Madhyamika. It's true that as a dependent arising is the foundations. Is the foundations to develop wisdom, realizing emptiness of a person and the emptiness of phenomena as well. So this dependent arising is called a king of reasoning. So why do we call it a king of reasoning? Is like, for example, if there is a statement that things like, for example, one object is not truly existent, the reason is because it is dependent arising. So it is not truly existent or it is not independently existent because it is dependent arising. So that is why the king, this dependent arising is called a king of reasoning. So in terms of object of refutations for Prasangika and Madhyamika, there is no difference in terms of subtlety. So one being more subtle than the other. So there is no such thing for Prasangika Madhyamikas. So this emptiness of person and emptiness of phenomena only differ in terms of the object of emptiness.
The
basis.
다 신다 오마랑 집에서 저는 제발 열었을 제발 제발 열었어요. 그러와 나 와서 타도서 단지와서 시와서 단지와들라 가셔라 제발 주니요 말했어. 다 신다 준다도 저는 제발 샤워했어요. 제발 망보 열었고.
Yeah, so they differ in terms of the basis of emptiness. So these explanations is based on the assertions of Prasangika Madhyamika. So based on their view of Prasangika Madhyamika, and it is not based on other schools of tenets, like for example, Svadantika Madhyamikas and the rest, because other schools of tenets, they have different assertions for these explanations or these points of view, this view.
Yeah, thank you, Shila.
Okay, Sheila, I would like to ask question.
Yeah, yes.
If engagement in the Mahayana achieve the state of very high or higher state, whether is it still possible to drop again because of nowadays degenerating times, the quality of the mind is different. Is it still possible? Thank you.
Sorry, I just need to clarify. When you practice a Mahayana and achieve the highest state, so the highest state, do you mean enlightenment?
Yes, enlightenment. Because in the rough way to say, if like there is some master reincarnated from the highest, from the recognized master in the past, but then it seems of the degenerating times, the quality of the mind drops. Whether is it possible or how, I would like to ask for the explanation.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So when teaching the Lam nhằm lên trên này sang cái cổ phong để thọ bài na so the sang cái cổ phong này thuê gì cái này thì cái sao duru chạy gì cái sao nhuru cái sao cái đấy làm gì na sang cái cổ phong thọ này cái này anh so cái sang cái để chạy vào rồi nam trên để chạy vào rồi cái này thì nam trên cái lô xe sẽ để女把sẽ để女把để yang dulu 차기 연가유나
요 말이요.
이 차시기를
상대주 공부 토트리다 써니는 야야 말고. 써니는 야.
그래서 단단 니두기 갑라. 니두기 신라 이니 상계기 고방 톱 차네. 근데 양 쪽이
마 양자
마
니가 출마 코라 마 남도 축제도 써니네요 말고.
맞소.
상대주 공부 토트는 니가 냐 써니요 냐 못해야 돼 토사서. 냐 못해야 돼 토사서. 상부 토이가 토해보라 냐면 요기 토되었고.
Yeah, so after you have achieved the state of enlightenment, then there is it is not possible for that enlightened beings from their mind from dropping again, or like become degenerated, for example, or their mind, their quality of mind from becoming degenerated.
내가 대화 친구 토마 당한테 장주신 바 토마 차이가 나대고 니바냐니 마 라면을 마 동도에 요랬고 장주신 바 토마 차비가라 토마 차비가라 냐니 무디니 아부 마지나 마야 마동도에 들이 요랬어 랑갈 장주신 바 트레인 마 필로에 들이 요랬어 내야 예 장주신 바 바바처럼 마동에 치려 요마 이 차선에 치려 요마 어 장주신 바 바바이나 마 오말 마동에 요마
Yeah. So for those who first become bodhisattvas, then if they do not continue to practice, then they will be then there is a danger of falling into the lower paths. So, however, for those who have already achieved for those who already become Arya Bodhisattvas, then it is not possible that they will fall to the lower path again. So don't mention those who become enlightened, even those Arya Bodhisattvas, they will not fall to a lower path again.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Can interest of time, I read out the questions between here. The question by Shirley Yo is on page 8, section A, the last line. That it read like, because they only outline external knowledge while the instructions are supreme because they present the inner meaning. Yeah, the section A, last line. What does inner meaning means?
其實啲講出啲寫出同準備出啲要話前年寫出實啲知個嘅就
这说的嘛，写子吃不了我嘛这，die老话记的，说个这娘里节老话记，那个你要嘛这些，我这嘛写的台上过这个，过了嘛，台上过了嘛，娘里节当过那个，老把说个等到嘛写过呢，写不难写，老把说娘是那个好容易等到。但嘛写的老把说等到嘛写，娘里节的也老把说，现在就过来节呢，搞个节。现在就了，这个的理解嘛，是说，你如果是等到。
Yeah. So the inner meaning refers to points for practice. Inner meaning refers to points of practice or point for practice. So there is no such thing as the explanatory teachings separate from the accomplishing teachings or practical teachings. So in other words is, if you understand 3 trainings, if you listen to the teachings of 3 trainings and contemplate on it, then you put it into practice. So that is exactly what you should put it into practice, instead of you listen to and contemplate on 1 teachings, then when you want to practice, then you practice something else. So the inner meaning refers to point for practice.
Thank you. Stop here today.
Okay.
Have puja. Puja.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.当时我去的，我做多年前给早晚的了，今年他看到这上几个点把就往多点哇，你吃不到看到年的了，年的主要当，那年的了，如果今天没把它到没少把它，但如果变就从如果今年就是长嘛话不送的了，把这没有啊，别去必须做到远，那历史的话，我写这意思。
We concluded with dedications. So we dedicate the merits accumulate, especially through this Dharma teaching, these Dharma discussions. So may it be the complete cause for Buddha's teachings to spread to 10 directions, spread in all 10 directions, and may sentient beings have happiness. Specifically, we dedicate these merits for this pandemic to be quickly pacified. And may those who help others, who offer assistance to others, such as doctors and nurses, and those who offer financial help to others, so may their those obstacles be quickly purified, and may their life be filled with excellent happiness.
Dāgī jēnyē zābī
Dēgī wā dēgī dāng rōwā gōnā kāmbē dāng kīpā jīsū lōsāng chāpā yī tīmē nīmbō rīndō sē jē shō chāngkyō sē chō rīmbō jē mā kē pā nā kī kyō jī kē pā nyāng pā mē pā yāng kōnyē kōntō pē wā shō yāng pē pā yē chē tā kē mā dāng kūntō sāng pē dē yāng dē shē dē dē tā kūng kē jē sō tā lō shē kē wā dā rā tāng jē rā tō ngō tōnyē tā wā rīmbō jē mā kē pā nā kī kyō jī kē pā nyāng pā mē pā yāng kōnyē kōntō pē wā shō rīnyē tā wā rīmbō jē mā kē pā nā kī kyō jī kē pā nyāng pā mē pā yāng kōnyē kōntō pē wā shō chāng kē jāng wē kē wē tēn cīng kyō bē wē kū sē tō bō sē chō sōng kū wē lē mē tū chū pā tō sō tū jē kēn tō shā tē chō tōnyē nī jē sōng tō chū kē lā chī sē sā sē kāng jē tē chū kē chā nā pē mō tēn cē kā sō lā sō wā tē sō jē tē lē lō chō jē tē kāng tē pēn tē mā tē pā kāng lē chū wē sāng pē yī shē lō kā tē sō mē tēn cē kā sō lā sō wā tē sō jē shē lē lō chō Shing on the pen on the wall, Monday, Jung,